Hi there, Oxley Girl Guides, it's Bluebell here. It's been some time since we've seen each other face to face, and with ANZAC Day coming up, I thought it was perfect timing to make a video so that those of you that want to participate in ANZAC Day this year can as part of your badge work. ANZAC Days, I guess, commemorated every year on the 25th of April. Normally, we would participate with the RSL in the local march at Oxley. This year, unfortunately, we're unable to do that because of the restrictions in place for COVID-19. But the great news is that you can still participate in ANZAC Day this year. RSL Queensland has created an initiative called Light Up the Dawn. So instead of going to the local march that we would normally do, we can actually just participate at home. I thought that this year, to help us participate, that we could actually make a wreath that we could take to Light Up the Dawn if we're going to do it at home. And this would be something that you can use to contribute to part of your ANZAC Day badge, because as you remember, we normally have to participate in a memorial service, okay, or something at school, but we also then have to do some other badge challenges, and each of your leaders will be in contact about what to expect. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, guides, we're going to do some cutting first. So those of you that are young, okay, so if you're gumnut guides and even some of the brownie guides, you might need some parental assistance with this step and the next step. So we're going to first of all grab a paper plate and our scissors, okay, and we're going to have to cut out the middle here because this is forming the base of our wreath, okay. So we're going to pick it up, I'm going to gently fold it and put a little cut in, and then we're going to cut to the edge, and this line here we're going to use as a guide, okay, to cut along. It doesn't matter how neat it is because really it's going to be covered up, right? So it should look something like that. Put that to the side for now. And next we're going to need our egg carton. This is actually really tough, okay? So those of you who aren't that confident with cutting, you definitely might need some help with this one, okay? So first we're going to cut these middle bits off if your egg carton has them poking up, because it's just going to make separating each of these individual ones a whole lot easier. Now our job is to separate these because these are going to form the individual flowers on our wreath. So I found that the best way to do this is to start from one side and cut down the groove there, and then go into the middle and cut down the next one. You can see how tough it is actually to cut, okay? And once you have a pair, we need to divide these into two. So we're just going to cut back down the middle. Okay, so we're going to keep cutting our egg carton like that until we've got all 12 little egg cups out. Then, to make it look more like a flower, we're going to scallop the edges, okay? So some will have one of these, some will have two, depending on where they were in the egg carton, okay? But we are just going to gently curve it round like this so that it seems more like a petal. Now, for those that only have one of those bits sticking up, we're going to then put some slits in to help us know how wide we want the other petals. Okay, and then we're going to start at the side and we're just going to curve it round. Okay, again, it doesn't have to be super neat because you've got a lot of these to actually cut. Just do your best at making a semicircle. Okay, so we can see now how it looks a little bit more like a flower shape. Okay, I'll just do another one to demonstrate. This one's already a bit ripped, so it's probably just going to be a really small petal. Okay, so we keep going until we've done all 12. Okay, so we have 12 from the egg carton. Depending on the size of the plate, you might need more or less of these actual kind of flowers. Okay, so next step is painting. Okay, so I've just used a small plate here, so I'm going to paint it green, obviously, for the background. There we go. So some of you are going to want to paint the back as well, and that's okay. You're probably still going to just need to let that dry a little bit first. So next we'll move on to the actual flowers. I've decided just to do red ones so that they look more like poppies. Now, because the egg cups actually don't have a white backing, depending on the type of paint or material that you use, you might want to do 2 coats, okay? For now, Bluebell's only just going to do 1. Obviously, you're going to want to paint both sides of the egg cup because you'll see the tops and the bottoms on the wreath. So once all the flower cups are dried, then you're going to get some black paint and you're just going to dab it in the middle like I already have with these ones, so it looks more like a poppy. Now while that's drying, we have to make some leaves to the wreath. So grab your paper. So if it's not green yet, that's okay. You can actually color the leaves in later. Okay, so then you might want to fold your paper as so, and then continue folding. This is just a way that you can make lots of leaves at the one time. If of course you want to make leaves all different sizes, then you're very welcome to do that as well. So once you've actually folded it, you can then grab your pencil and then you can do a rough leaf shape. Again, it doesn't have to be too accurate. And you just cut it out. Oops. And there we go. We have lots of leaves here ready to go on the wreath. Now, even if you do have colored green paper, you can give each leaf a bit more texture. So what Bluebell is going to do is she's going to grab some paint again, some green paint, and then she's just going to roughly give each one its own unique kind of little drizzle of the paint she used for the base of the wreath. It's just going to give it a bit more texture. Again, we wait for that to dry before we move on. So lest we forget is one of the main things that we say, or maybe we will remember. So if you've got some ribbon at home and you want to put it on your wreath, you can measure it out and chop it, and then you can write the words. Bluebell hasn't written any words on hers, just because the ribbon she's using is a little bit too waxy. Depending on the ribbon and how well it's going to stick, you can just use your glue to put it over the middle. The back, Bluebell's had to actually staple hers because the ribbon again is a little bit too waxy. And as you can see, Bluebell's put some glue down underneath, and then she's just put all these leaves on. Okay. Now once this is dry and these are dry, the last step is to really attach these cups to your wreath. So you can do that just by putting some glue on each of the bases of your flower and then putting it on this top edge of your wreath so that some of the base and some of the leaf is covered. Now it's probably going to take a little while to actually stick with these ones because there's a bit of that indent on the base of the flower cups, we can call them now. So we keep going. Now you may have actually had different colors on yours, which is fine, so you might want to alternate the colors and patterns that you use. So you might have white flowers and red flowers. You might have some yellow flowers and purple flowers. Just keep going around. Again, depending on the size of your plate that you started with, you're probably going to need a different amount of these cups. And depending how full you actually want your wreath to be, it might change too. Bluebell's wreath is all dried now. I wonder how yours is going. This is what Bluebell's end product looks like. Okay, see you next time.